Jim Carrey in a hilarious performance.
Help me prove I have a brain.
Is Rubberface.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. This season, a title fight is brewing. That's right, Eddie Murphy in one corner versus Jim Carrey in the other. 2 stars this season. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is Ocean State Joe Blott, Joe Vekeman.
Ah.
A joke for a very small portion of our community. I don't think... They might only be in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, these stores, right?
Oh, yeah. The ocean states.
They're like nowhere else, as far as I can gather.
I feel like it was a big 90s thing.
And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is the Chixie Sticks. All the chicken flavor you love of real chicken, crafted in a crispy, crunchy cylinder. It's a little awkward that it sort of phrases itself in comparison to real chicken, right?
Or the Dixie Chicks.
I don't know if that's related. That might be a...
I'm sure
Anyway,
it's not. Yes.
Try them out. If you want your chicken on a stick on the go, the Chixie Sticks is the way to go. All right, Joe.
All right.
What movie we were doing this week?
We watched Rubberface because it was a hidden secret.
Yes. There was a bit of confusion here, right? We thought this maybe was like a Blood Red type thing where it was made before the other stuff, but was released after, but this turned out not to be true.
I mean, the VHS that we uncovered definitely was released in 95.
Okay. Yes, the movie was made in 1981. The last 2 movies we've done of Jim were both from 1983.
That's right.
We're not actually certain when this was officially released. We know it was made in 81. We don't know if it ever screened anywhere. And then we realized we couldn't figure out the release date, so we have put it here now for you all.
Here's some information. The film was released on DVD on January 23rd, 2007. Maybe we should have held off. Okay, I'm kidding.
All right, Joe, what's the plot of Rubberface?
Wow. This film was shot in Canada and released there as introducing Janet. Janet is an overweight girl who has a knack for making the other children in school laugh by making fun of her own weight. And seeing the other kids' reactions, she feels that she might have a career as a comedian. She visits the local comedy club where she finds Tony Maroney, a struggling comedian whose jokes often fail. Together, Tony helps Janet build self-esteem, and she helps him with his material. You know,
it started off a little rough, but, then we got a pretty good summary out of that.
We did. Don't think we needed to know that it's shot in Canada.
Jim Carrey for his first film role, having to do the tough work of playing a struggling up-and-coming comic, hoping for his big break.
Can I give you our first hot take?
Well, can I also just say that his character also has a dad that's a failed musician? It must have been really tough for him to find that place for him to get that emotional truth. What's the hot take?
My hot take is this is the best we've seen Jim Carrey so far. I was like, oh, he's in a real movie. Kind of.
A real 47-minute movie.
Good for him.
Though, it does follow all the beats and the 3-act stuff. It just is very compressed. It's just a very tight movie. Though, Joe, it was a cute little movie.
I thought so, too. After all the crap that we've had to watch recently, I was like, you know what? Not bad.
Yeah, it's a nice little tale of a girl struggling with weight issues, and I'm confused. I'm like, so she's just going to help Jim Carrey the whole time, and are we ever going to solve her problems? And then we kind of did, and then Jim, sort of sometimes a jerk, pretended to be sick so she could go up and have her big moment.
Yeah. This movie has a mean tagline.
What is it?
Comedy is not pretty.
Are we making fun of her or him?
It feels like we're making fun of her because she's the main character.
Well, I know all of the key art now has Jim Carrey's big weird face on it, but I don't imagine that was originally how it was marketed, right?
No. In fact, introducing Janet was the original title. Rubberface doesn't make any sense. He doesn't even do that many impressions.
Yeah, it was interesting that she would be like, hey, listen, you got to update your The Fonz cooking show material. And then their first choice was Groucho Marx impressions.
I know. Everything's so dated.
Yes.
But it was like dated when they were doing it.
Yeah, it was already dated. They said, all right, this 1970, I guess, Happy Days really did just end somewhat recently, but the Marx Brothers hadn't made a movie in 25 years, so I don't know what the thought was there.
Well, this movie's pretty simple. Not much to say besides that.
I don't know if you noticed at the nightclub they had mid-1990s Papagino's tablecloths.
They did. I was going to say, Ada Glassberg, who plays Janet, I thought she was charming. I thought she was nice.
I got no beef with the movie. And in fact, passes the Bechdel test immediately and frequently.
Yeah. Nice. Guess what?
All the way back in 1981. Only in Canada, right, Joe?
Yeah, but guess what? Ada Glassberg never worked again. That's sad.
Was she also a comedian like Jim, and then she just didn't ever get to take off like he did?
I don't know, because you know what? This is the only thing that's on her that's ever been credited to her.
She doesn't have a little Wikipedia page or anything?
No, she has nothing.
She just. We gotta ask Jim. Jim, whatever happened to Ida? Do you keep in touch? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but it stinks.
Did you randomly find each other on Facebook in the early 2010s and just casually comment on each other's posts ever since?
Can you imagine if 30 years later, Jim was just scrolling on Facebook and the people you may know came by and he's like,
yeah.
Whoa, Ada Glassberg. Holy shit. That's the first thing I ever worked on. Skip.
No, we get ourselves a cute little romance film. Wouldn't that be? That's a neat idea, too.
I feel like he was going through a pretty tough divorce at that time.
Yeah, well, we'll get there when we get there, I guess.
We will get there. There's nothing about this. I got nothing for you.
That's okay, because the version we found on YouTube for free.
Oh, yes.
There's a couple. You can watch the regular, boring 47-minute version, but I found one that was 55 minutes, and I said, I wonder if we're going to get any bonus stuff. Well, it was a direct VHS rip from 1995, 14 years later, and on it had 4 previews, because back then you couldn't just skip them. You had to sit through them all, as we recently opined in one of our episodes. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, it's good times.
Joe, did you notice the Hive video game? Did you see those stunning graphics?
I'm skipping through it right now because I'm trying to remember all of them. I did not see anything of that video game before. That was crazy.
Well, that was, in fact, the very first video game for Windows 95.
The Hive?
The Hive.
Wow.
Yep, you're, I guess, like a drug government agent trying to stop this black market mafia group from not selling drugs, but in fact recreating a deadly insect race, which they're doing in hopes of milking its toxin for drugs. Nobody seemed to like the plot, but everybody thought the graphics were amazing. Look at them again, Joe. Amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at them. The next one is it looks like...
Death Machine.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of crow thing.
The direct-to-DVD Death Machine, which notably has many, many cuts, because the director was not satisfied. The director was a special effects artist on films such as Aliens.
Yeah. Is it Brad Dourif?
Brad Dourif is the main character.
Yeah.
You also got a very young Rachel Weisz.
Wow. That's crazy.
And a bunch of people I'd never heard of. And the film has sometimes been banned in a few countries.
The next preview, though, was a movie that I will definitely seek out. It stars our guy,
Jim Belushi.
Big Jim.
James Belushi.
Not Jim Carrey, Big Jim Belushi.
Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton, right after Terminator.
Right after Terminator. Vera Miles, I don't know. And Elizabeth Moss, I feel like I know, but I couldn't tell you.
Elizabeth Moss. She must have been a baby.
Well, the good news about this, Joe, is I was going to look into the plot. This was also direct-to-DVD, by the way. I was going to look into the VHS, direct-to-VHS. I was going to look into the plot, but then I found out it was on Tubi!
Oh, shit. Now I'm even more excited.
Now we're going to watch that. The next film was also on Tubi, which looks like it was a real movie, because it had a budget of $700,000 and a box office of $380,000.
Yeah, I've seen the cover art for this at Lake Hollywood Video all the time. Swimming with Sharks. Our guy, Frank Whaley, from Hoffa. The guy that kills Hoffa at the end. How could you forget? He's in the restaurant.
You had that ready to go.
I did. As soon as that commercial came up, I was like, oh, shit. We have another thing to talk about with this one guy. He had a period in the 90s, which was the year of 1994, where he's in Pulp Fiction, he's in Hoffa, and he's in Swimming with Sharks.
He's pulling his own Gutenberg year.
Yeah, and then he was never heard from again. It's good stuff. Yeah, so big head, thick skin, numbskull, Jim Carrey, Rubberface, rated PG. The art for this VHS cover does not exist in the movie at all. I would say this scene never happens. In fact, Jim's hair never goes up. It's always patted down. I would say he doesn't really make too many funny faces. So the title Rubberface is kind of an extension of fiction. I thought the Ada Gainsbourg was very charming. Glassberg, not Gainsbourg.
It's a nice little movie. It's dealing with women weight issues. Your main character is a female that also isn't looking like a traditional movie star.
Yeah, and like there was like subtle things about like they weren't like, oh, your dad's gone or your dad's dead. No, you kind of like slowly find out that her father won the divorce, was in a divorce with her mom, and she's living with her mom, and she makes a joke about it. And that's how you find out. I'm like, oh, it's nice.
Some things were subtle and some things weren't, but I won't even hold the weren't subtle things against it because the movie only has 47 minutes to work with.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, they got to get it. So, like, there's this poem she's reading that has absolutely no subtext at all. And I go, like, well, they gotta move. They gotta keep going. I haven't even seen Jim Carrey yet. So we got a lot to do.
I was very forgiving on this one because it didn't take up much of my time and it moved. It really moved.
I've been liking these hour-long Jim Carrey movies. I won't lie. I wish we got more of these from Jack in the beginning. It would have been nice.
Well, wasn't the first one like an hour and 10 minutes? The
that one was
killer?
Pretty short. But then you get like a 2-hour motorcycle film and like 60 minutes of just like driving down a road. And you're like, all right, can a movie happen, please?
Yeah, and then we got Reds, which I liked, but it was long.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I'm like, oh, then he kept having, then he would have 3-hour movies that were bored me to tears.
Then he worked with Warren Beatty one too many times.
Yeah. That was Ironweed, and I needed to. I'll take the hour films. It's fine.
That was rough. With Meryl?
Yeah, with Meryl and him yelling at ghosts.
I feel like Jack had a lot of movies where he was just like, my kid's dead. I'm sad. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. The 80s were a tough time for a lot of people.
Now, do you think throughout Jim Carrey's filmography, he will be mourning some dead children? I haven't seen all of them, so I can't say 100%.
My gut feeling is no.
Case.
But just like I had said with Copper Mountain, which I had actually thought was his first film, this film does take also good advantage of, basically they said, we want you to be yourself, Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Do some bits.
It's almost like Ida and Jim maybe were like friends on the stand-up circuit, and she got a movie made somehow and cast her friend in it, and then it just helped him take off.
It really feels like a Canadian production.
Yes, it's very quaint, mild-mannered. Nobody's feelings get
That's
hurt.
Exactly what I meant. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Just a little charm, just enough.
Yeah, enough charm
no
to be like,
glitz and glamour. They're in and
no
they're
one's
out.
hurt by anything. It's
this is like a public broadcast production.
Absolutely. Nothing offensive again. Nothing's offensive.
Jim Carrey's Canadian part of his career, quite pleasant.
I'm digging it. Yeah. I actually enjoyed when she got on stage that the bit that she was doing was kind of funny. I didn't really chuckle, but I was like, oh yeah, And like when the people were laughing in the crowd, I'm like, that's good. I'm glad people are laughing, not just staring silently at her. And I also liked when Jim, his whole bit was like, oh, my voice is gone, but he's giving her the spotlight, and that was
the motivation.
very kind.
Yeah, because she's been helping him out the whole time, and I go like, well, that would be, I don't know, feels defeating when your protagonist's main goal is to help someone else achieve their dream. So it was nice that not only he put her in the position to finish her arc, I guess, as that turns out he did it willingly. He didn't even actually get sick. He was just being a delightful man.
Very, very kind movie. All right, we talked about it enough.
We'll get back to the title fight, but we've got to take a break for our annual Oscar special.
Hell yeah.
Last year, I stayed out of the loop.
Damn.
And Joe gave me the reactions live, and this seemed to be a popular thing we did for the audience, so we decided to do it again. For some reason, this year felt harder. We record on Tuesday mornings usually, so it's been almost a day and a half since the Oscars happened. Mm-hmm. This year it felt harder to stay out of the know, and I'll tell you why, Joe.
Tell me.
Streaming services and improved web cookies.
Damn.
So I had to avoid watching even the PlayStation, turning on the PlayStation or turning on their streaming services. The front page always had advertisements for their films, and I was just afraid that I would see like, yes, watch, I don't know, this movie, it won this award. So I had to do that. But then also, when I would web browse, just ads seem to be everywhere now, and they all seem very, very targeted. So I was afraid of Googling anything, and then like it would pop up. I was afraid of checking my emails. Like, sometimes I get emails and they're like, from the streamers, and they're like, yes, we have this movie, it just won this award, come and watch it. So, staying off social media, that was the easy part. I warned a bunch of people, because I know Godzilla's floating around in there too, an Academy Award night. I didn't want anyone to spoil anything on that. It was tough, but I got through it. I'm glad we recorded so early. I can go back to my normal life. But, which award do you want to start off with?
Best visual effects!
Hey, all right. Give me the nominees.
Napoleon.
Okay, yeah, like the one award it got, kind of, right? Maybe a costume
I think it got maybe 2. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay.
Godzilla -1. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Creator. That seems like a lot of nominations for special effects.
You saw all those, right? Or did you not see
I have seen all of those.
Well, what do you think should have won?
What should have won?
Yeah, because I've only seen one of them. I can't
That's
guess.
crazy. Wait, you didn't even see Napoleon yet?
I did see Napoleon.
Oh, okay,
right.
Good.
All right.
What should have won was Godzilla -1.
What did win?
Godzilla -1! I was so happy. Apparently, I missed most of the show because my ABC app refused to work. I spent 20 minutes trying to get that thing to load. And I was like, dude, I was watching you last night when I had the Celtics on. Why are you being a little prick? And it just didn't want to do anything for me. So I watched something else for an hour. And then around 9 o'clock, it decided to function again. So I watched the rest of the ceremony. And I was like, thank you.
You missed the Godzilla bit?
Yeah, but apparently the winners went up with little Godzilla figures, and when they were handed their Oscars, they had to somehow juggle the figure of Godzilla and their Oscar, and they were all trying to hold on to them. It was kind of funny.
Well, it only took 70 years, but Godzilla finally got some recognition.
Got an Oscar.
It does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I've been to, and it's great.
It was such a deserved win, though. Very.
I didn't see the others, so I don't know. To me, a lot of special effects, they all just look like they're all pretty much on the same level these days. The best special effects are actually the ones where you don't even realize they're being used. Like you've got most of a set, but you don't have enough for an entire city, so you just put a little bit of painting in the background, or you've changed the color of a sky maybe or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think people nominating films notice those, and I think you notice the Dead Reckonings and the Guardians movies where you're like, wow, look at all these. So to me, I don't know how you pick one, quite frankly.
I would say its real competition was The Creator, though, which is a very small movie.
Yeah.
Small in the sense that it had like an $80 million budget, but it looked like it had a $200 million budget. And I'm like, they had a lot of like animatronics there that they use, like visual effects to like move them a little easier.
Okay.
To, like, so I was like, oh, and that movie was just a little boring, but it was fine.
Godzilla maybe with the better campaign, the Oscar campaign. I know I was seeing their for your consideration ads all over the place again because of the cookies. Which is why I was
think they had a lot of momentum from their box office run in December.
The 9-10 week box office run certainly helped compared to The Creator. I don't even remember that coming out, quite frankly.
Creator came out at the end of September and probably went around for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it got kicked out.
Godzilla -1 also with an extremely tiny budget.
Yes.
So there's that too.
Yeah, where I believe Napoleon had like 100-something million. Mission Impossible and Guardians both had like 200 million. So it's like, yeah, okay, guys.
And yet all 5 movies have their VFX people being paid the exact same amount.
Yep.
Let's take a break, though, to talk about another award ceremony that happened across the ocean. Japan's Academy Awards.
Oh.
Where I bet they get their show done in an hour and a half, because they only have 12 awards.
Oh.
And
that's nice.
Godzilla -1 won 8 of them.
Wow. 8 out of 12.
It had beaten the last record set by Shin Godzilla 7 years earlier.
Incredible.
Which had won 7. Here's what it won. It won Best Picture, obviously.
Wow.
Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress, which we talked about briefly.
Yeah.
Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Lighting, Best Art Direction, and Best Sound.
Absolutely, for lighting and sound, I would definitely agree.
I sadly didn't go and look up what it was up against because I was too afraid again to get anything spoiled. But I'll check on that and see what they are up against.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You know, like, as I've been rewatching all of the American Godzillas again to get ready for this new one, so I can hate it appropriately. And
it's at the end of the month.
I know. I gotta watch the TV show too. As I'm watching those, I'm like, and over there, the last 2 Japanese Godzilla films both won Best Picture, and over here,
a decade apart,
I'm getting this. I'm getting whatever the hell Godzilla vs. Kong was.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
And whatever I'm about to get, the buddy cop version. So if Japan says, hey, you know what, we've learned not to crap one of these out every year, because they're not usually the best. Some of them have been fun. Some of them have gotten close to where those 2 Academy Award-winning ones have gotten. But you got a lot more duds in there. So if they want to take 7 years to make a movie, and then it's like one of the greatest movies of that year, fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. Reinvent the wheel again.
Yeah, go for it. Do what you got to do. Don't care. All right, what award do you want to do next? What's a nice juicy award?
I'm just going to go up the line now. The next one was Best Costume Design.
All right, fine. Give me these. I don't know any of these.
Well, Oppenheimer, Napoleon, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, and Poor Things.
All right, I would think maybe Napoleon, because of like how much work had to go in it. Poor Things would be interesting because of how kind of kooky they are. Mm-hmm. Like you had to kind of pay deference to a time period while also making it its own style. And Emma Stone's got the craziest dresses, which I love. My guess, though, is because of momentum, it's Oppenheimer that wins.
For the hat? The purple hat?
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, all these people in period-appropriate attire. This must have been hard to blah, 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 whatever. I don't know.
The winner was Poor Things, Holly
Hey!
Waddington. Yeah.
All right. Pretty good.
Good winner.
I cheered over that. Who's the designer?
Holly Waddington.
Holly Waddington. All right, good work, Holly. All right, what's next?
You know what? We have seen a movie together that she has worked on from 2015, in the summer of 2015. It was an action movie. It was part of one of our double features.
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Wow, good job.
Boosh, boosh. We don't watch a lot of action films together. That was...
That's true. Wow.
That was from that era and made the most sense.
Yeah, that's
because that's also a period piece.
It was. Yeah. So that's good for her. Best film editing: Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, and Anatomy of a Fall.
I really like it to be Anatomy of a Fall because the editing's kind of the whole structure of it. I don't know if the Academy always I don't actually know what they look for when they want to talk about good editing.
Very curious, too.
I don't know what the editing's doing in the holdovers or in the... I guess it's okay in Oppenheimer because you're jumping between two time periods. I would give it to Anatomy. I, again, for momentum reasons, thinks it was Oppenheimer.
Well, you're right.
Yeah!
Oppenheimer.
There you go. Who's the editor on that?
That is Jennifer Lame, who I think has worked with Nolan before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's also edited some of my some movies I really like. Wow, her first... Oh, it was an apprenticeship, but that's still cool. Sidney Lumet's last movie before The Devil Knows You're Dead. That's a fantastically edited movie. Jennifer Lame also, her first collaboration with Noah Baumbach was Frances Ha.
Hey, there you go.
And then she also worked on 5 more, While We're Young, Mistress America, De Palma, which is Noah Baumbach's interview documentary where he just sits there, asks De Palma a question, and then De Palma like monologues for like 20 minutes about a movie. Great time. I loved it.
I get why I didn't see that one, but I have seen the others.
Oh, and a movie we covered, The Meyerowitz Stories.
Yes.
New and selected. She's also worked with Ari Aster on Midsommar and Hereditary. She worked with Nolan again with Tenet.
All right, well, what's next?
Next would be Best Makeup and Hairstyling. We got Society of the Snow, which I saw that you recently watched.
Yep, a totally fair award to give it.
Any comment on that?
I pretty much said it in the Letterboxd review. It was a big bummer, pretty much. It feels like cheaty, right? Like, I didn't get to see Yo Capitano. It's the only foreign film I didn't get to see, but this film made perfect sense to be selected. And Perfect Days, which I did like, but both of those felt like really safe choices to send to the Academy. It felt like the Academy would love these films for very different reasons. And this movie, just like one of those kind of feel-goody, true-to-life stories. But man, it is so a bummer that when they finally do get rescued, you are happy, but it's like, well, of course I'm happy. You kicked me around for 2 hours, and then you finally took your boot off my throat. Of course I'm finally happy. Okay, but the makeup, hair, if you want to give an award to that, or at least nominate it, I get it, because you had to do quite a lot to those little fuckers.
It was nominated. Other nominations were for Best Makeup and Hairstyle, Oppenheimer, Maestro, Golda, which I've never heard of, and Poor Things.
Maestro. Okay, fine. You're making somebody look like somebody. Poor Things makes sense, that movie. Everybody looks kooky. What the fuck are you doing in Oppenheimer? What's the hair and makeup of Oppenheimer? Making a guy look like Einstein?
Robert Downey Jr. doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. in there.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's okay for one guy.
That's all I can think of really right now. Like, who else was really made up in that?
I really don't know what Golda is. I feel bad for Golda.
It was a Helen Mirren movie. I just looked it up. It's the film depicts actions of Golda Meir, the 4th Prime Minister of Israel during the Yom Kippur War.
I do remember this movie coming out. Yeah. Well, I bet you had to make people look like people there. I bet I would give it to Poor Things. And based on the other award they won, I'll say that they got it.
They did.
Yeah. All right. They give them all the kooky things. That's good. Good work.
Best cinematography. Poor Things, Maestro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and El Conde.
What is El Conde?
El Conde is the new Pablo Larraín movie that's on Netflix right now. It is a satire that portrays Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet as a 250-year-old vampire seeking death.
Wait, what? For real?
Yeah, I wanted to see it. I like Pablo Larraín.
I had already kind of wanted to watch it because I am familiar with that Pinochet dictator.
The poster's pretty cool. It's a guy in black and white with pink sunglasses.
Then he gets to be a vampire?
Yeah, a 250-year-old vampire seeking death.
I gotta watch that movie. That sounds awesome.
And you know what? It's on Netflix, and it's under 2 hours. Wow, maybe that one should have got an editing award.
And apparently it's got good cinematography. Yeah. That's pretty good. All right. I have to imagine it's Oppenheimer.
It is.
Yeah, okay. What were the other ones?
Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Poor Things. All like pros, like Rodrigo Prieto, Matthew Libatique, and Robbie Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd give that to.
Well, Hoyt Van Hoytema won.
Did Poor Things get a special effects nomination? It didn't, right?
No. It did not.
I don't know which one I'd pick there. Oppenheimer seems as fine as any of the other ones.
Probably remember, like, I only saw the movie once and it was all the way last summer now, but just the testing scenes where they're going to those big open fields and then they have the villages that they've kind of made up so the families can live there while they're...
Like, I lean a little towards Poor Things, but I think that has more to do with the art direction than the cinematography itself. And maybe it's got a benefit because it's doing black and white and color. So they're like, wow, it must have been tough. Wow.
Didn't both Poor Things and Oppenheimer both have black and white and color cinema?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Best production design, Oppenheimer, Napoleon, Kills of the Flower Moon, Barbie, and Poor Things.
I don't know which one I'd personally pick, but giving it to Barbie seems like a good way to throw them a bone and get people to not be mad at you.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, did it not get it?
It did not get it.
All right, so did they go back to Oppenheimer or did they do the Poor Things again?
They went to Poor Things. All
right, so it seems like all kooky art direction-y things, all the fun stuff they'll give to Poor Things. And then, like, the quote-unquote real stuff will go to Oppenheimer.
The real stuff.
Quote-unquote.
Yeah, like editing and cinematography.
I guess is nice in a way, because it felt like back in the day, just like the one movie would, like, sweep everything. Because that's, it was just easy to go down ballot voting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's nice they're kind of doing this. I'll just keep this in mind as future nominations come. But I think all the fun stuff's out of the way.
Best sound.
All right, what are the options?
All right.
It's not Godzilla -1, I'll tell you that.
No, they only got that one nomination, but they won it, so they're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Best sound. The nominees were Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Maestro, The Creator, and The Zone of Interest.
I would give it to Zone of Interest, where the sound is integral to the entire viewing experience. If you take it out, it is nowhere near the same. It might not even work as a movie. I bet they gave it to Oppenheimer.
Well, the Academy agreed with you. They gave it to The Zone of Interest.
All right. All right, my cynicism.
I know, it's kind of like slowly going away.
Because I'm like, you give it to Oppenheimer. It has like 2 good sound moments, and maybe those just really stuck out, and it's got the momentum thing. But Zone of Interest, it's so important in that movie. It's so important.
Unfortunately, it's still the one movie that was nominated for Best Picture that I have not seen yet. Did not get to see it in a theater.
You didn't get to go to that like one random screening?
Yeah, no, it's been very difficult to go see movies recently. So it's okay, though.
Good work, Academy. What's next?
Best Original Song. Your favorite.
I bet I know 2 of these. Go on. Oh, there's a Barbie one, right? Because that was the big press.
There are 2 Barbie songs.
2? There's a second song in that movie?
That's rude. There are many Barbie songs in that movie.
By Aqua?
Aqua? No. I'm going to do my best to pronounce this correctly. Wahazahazi, A Song for My People, from Killers of the Flower Moon. It Never Went Away, from American Symphony.
Don't know that.
Don't know that one either. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot.
Oh, that's the one from the woman from Desperate Housewives about the Cheetos guy.
That's right. And What Was I Made For from Barbie. And that is the Billie Eilish and Phineas one.
Oh, I don't remember that one at all. Is that like in the movie? Or is that like a credits
That
thing?
is like the last like few moments of the movie where she's in the like white space and she's talking to
Ray Perlman.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Do you think it would have been cool because Rhea Perlman was talking to Margot Robbie that if there was another like weird like white void where Ken was talking to Danny DeVito?
This is how men gotta do it, Ryan. This is what we do.
I mean, that's kind of what Gosling is doing. He's doing a more handsome version of DeVito.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the Ken one, I know there was a lot of excitement about it performing. It also is the song that like really draws attention to itself in a movie. It also goes on for like 7 minutes of the movie.
And it had the best portion of the ceremony to me, whereas when Ryan Gosling came out and sang it on stage.
the best portion of the show you got to see?
Yes. I watched it like 3 times because my kid wanted to see it too because she woke up and she's like, I want to see I'm Just Ken. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I just loaded up my phone again.
So was it just him singing, or did they do like a whole thing with it?
They did the whole shebang. They brought back the other Kens. They went to the crowd, did some crowd work. They had the Barbie heads like spinning. It was
I feel like you
awesome.
gotta give it to it now, right?
Well, they didn't. They gave it to Billie Eilish and Phineas for What Was I Made For? A really slow, sad song that's just kind of there.
Well, maybe they do it because, like people know Billie Eilish. I actually have no idea who this woman is, but I hear her get talked about all the time.
Let me tell you something. This is her second Oscar. She's 22.
What did she win the other one for?
The Bond song that she did a couple years ago.
The Bond song's always a winning thing. So that's whatever.
That's why I'm like, did she really need to win this?
Like, maybe it's because the Ken one was too silly. Maybe that's why.
God forbid a silly song wins.
I'm just trying to figure out like what reasons it's for. Like I don't know most of these songs, so I can't accurately judge. The Ken one was a fun song. It was a nice part of the movie. I was surprised it got nominated. Maybe there just weren't a lot of songs. It didn't seem like something they'd go for, but they did. So I like give it something. I don't remember that song at all, and I remember the Ken song. So I'm just saying that Academy.
All right. Best original score. So we got Poor Things, Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is just bullshit. I'm sorry. John Williams, did you really need your like 74th nomination? And Killers of the Flower Moon.
I don't remember the scores to any of them.
That's so fucking rude because Killers of the Flower Moon has a great score.
Don't remember it at all.
Wow, rude.
Poor Things had some kooky sounds in it, but that's not usually what they go for in scores, I feel. Indiana Jones, really? Is it just because it's John Williams, you think?
It has to be.
Did you watch the movie?
I saw it, and I know the iconic Indiana Jones sting.
Yeah, like a lot of that has to be recycled at this point, right?
It has to be. How old is he? Isn't he in his 90s? Leave him alone. The fact that they asked him to do the score was just rude. Guys, I did it already 4 other times.
Just do it again, whatever. Take out the theremin from the Alien one and you're fine. I didn't see it, so I don't know if there's an alien theremin there, but that'd be cool.
I don't think there was any aliens in the new one. It was about time travel. Great.
That always goes well.
And I think it was fine. The effects were not my favorite. The best original score went to, do you want to pick?
Oppenheimer.
And it did. Ludwig Göransson got his second Oscar for that. Congratulations.
Yep, don't remember the score to that at all either.
All right. Best animated short film. Did you see any of them?
Nah, I didn't see any of these. Hold on. Did anyone get slapped this year?
No one got slapped.
No exciting, like, afterward buzz moments that weren't award related?
There was one that I'm going to get to in just a little bit.
The shorts, both the live action and the animated, were never playing. They played like a week or two over here at the convenient to access theaters, and it was like in like the 1 or 2 weeks when I was aggressively busy, so I couldn't get out to see them. But normally I do go every year and watch them. But sadly I couldn't this year. What? Just give me the name of the winners, just so we can be.
Well, the best live action short film went to The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar from Wes Anderson and Stephen Rails.
Oh, Bobby!
Which I've seen, and I can say I saw the winner of the best live action short film this year, finally.
That feels like, I'm sure maybe even if it is the best one, like, help the other fuckers out. Like, good
do you know
Lord.
what was even better? Wes Anderson's like, not gonna be there. He didn't even show up. His only Oscar now. That poor guy. He had a movie that came out last year that was phenomenal that got 0 recognition, and
what movie?
Asteroid City.
That didn't come out this year?
That came out last year, 2023.
Really? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
0 nominations.
Yeah, I didn't care too much about it.
Wow, rude. The best animated short film was War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko by Dave Mullins and Brad Booker.
An animated one?
Yep.
I am not familiar with this at all.
I was not either. The best documentary short film. Did you see any of those?
I never go to see those because I'm not a big documentary guy. So what one?
The Last Repair Shop by Ben Proudfoot and Chris Bowers.
Oh, that just sounds so boring. Oh my god! But here's the deal
Nice.
too. Like the theaters, they either won't show these, or like the Kendall used to,
Not anymore.
and it would show it like one time.
Yeah.
But the other ones would be like week-long events, and they'd be like, Wednesday afternoon, you could check out the documentaries if you want, because they know nobody wants to see those either.
Yeah, Kendall's too busy playing 10 screens of Dune now. And I'm like, you sellouts.
Yeah, thank God Godzilla -1 didn't come out in the same year as Dune. Whew. I haven't seen Dune 2 yet, but I would not want to go up against that in any way, shape, or form visually.
I still think Godzilla has a little bit of an edge on it, just because of
The low budget.
the low budget, the amount of work that was done on it still. And I don't know, it looks incredible still.
The animated films would always be popular because you'd also have young kids come there too. And also it'd be much shorter than the live action grouping
Yeah.
because the animated movies are all like 7 minutes long because it's really expensive.
The best documentary feature film went to 20 Days in Mariupol from Mstislav Chernov and Michelle Meisner and Rainy Arnasov-Roth. I believe they gave really good speeches. If you want to check those out, I suggest that's a good idea. They gave very politically motivated speeches that were...
Sounds like it maybe is like a Ukraine thing. Is that what it is?
think I just remember like a little bit of his speech, which was just that I am so grateful for this award, but I wish that I had not have made this movie because of the horrible things that were depicted in it. Anyways, are you ready for Best International Feature Film?
Okay, yes. I've seen 4/5 of these. Let's go.
The Teacher's Lounge, Society of the Snow, The Zone of Interest, Yo Capitano, and Perfect Days.
I really did want to see Yo Capitano, but it was still playing in theaters, so no streaming services had it, but it was not playing in theaters convenient for me to access by the time I realized that. But I'm guessing it's between Zone of Interest, right? Is one of them, or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing between Zone of Interest and Perfect Days, but I bet you they gave it to Zone of Interest.
They gave it a Zone of Interest.
Yeah. I don't regret it. It just tells me it probably didn't win Best Feature, so I can cross that one off the list.
Yeah, well, not going to say anything.
Okay.
All right. Best Animated Feature.
All right, go on. Give me these.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Boy and the Heron, Robot Dreams, Nimona, that's on Netflix, Elemental, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, you didn't like the movie?
I watched 5 minutes of it. I'm like, no, thank you. Pass.
Grant's going to have words with you. He's a staunch Elemental defender.
Oh, God. I mean, I saw Wish, and that was... Ugh.
Wish had to be worse, though, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming, but at least my kid wanted to see that one. No one had any interest for Elemental in my house.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was at Jake's house during one of the times I was over there for wedding or whatever, and his kids were watching it. I guess they watched that over and over again.
Oh, that sucks.
So I saw like the first half of it sporadically when I ran out of things to say.
That was too honest.
What were the first couple you said?
Spider-Verse, Robot Dreams.
I think it's that one.
It's The Boy and the Heron! Miyazaki has 2
Wow.
Oscars that he never showed up for.
Maybe they're going to save the Spider-Man one for the second one since it's really the second half of it.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that'll be the third one, actually, because they won
it's
for the first one.
Yeah. The second part of this one, that is, you just didn't want your movie to be 5 hours or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, that is very
it's like
true.
the Kill Bill thing, where they were like, we can't distribute a long movie.
The whole thing kind of bit him on the butt because that movie was supposed to come out this spring, the sequel, and then the strike pushed it back, and then also animation time pushed it back because it takes a long time to animate.
I was expecting it to be 2 years anyway. I was just annoyed that you end your movie in the middle of a movie, a la The Hobbit Part 2.
Yeah, but I like Spider-Verse.
Have it also be, I don't know, whatever, fine. I don't care. I'm over. Boy and the Heron, I didn't think was that great, but people like
Wrong.
Miyazaki, so fine. They're like, oh, this guy came out of retirement, great.
That movie
Let's give it to him again.
took me for a ride.
Underwhelming.
Oh, it's so wrong.
Incomplete movie. Weird because he had 10 years to work on it. Incomplete.
I'm not happy with you right now. Did you go in there with a sour mood?
No, I went in there expecting a fun Miyazaki film. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I like, it feels like we're missing major things. And we're just kind of like jumping from another point. I don't know how we got there. And then the movie just is like, we're done.
Did you see the dub or the subs?
I saw the subs. The dubs they didn't have, or they didn't have at a convenient time. I like his dubs.
Will you watch it one more time with the dubs? Will you give it one more shot with the dub when it comes out, whenever it comes out, because they haven't even announced a date for it to come out streaming yet?
That's odd.
I think it's just the Japanese model, because neither has Godzilla -1.
Well, but they've announced the Japanese release. I imagine they wanted to wait for the Oscars so they could put the big fucking thing on it.
That'd be nice.
And listen, the Japanese one release looks awesome, and I hope that's exactly what we get over here, because it looks so cool. It's like a big old box. It's got 4 discs in it.
Wow.
Because you got the regular version in Blu-ray and DVD, and the black and white in Blu-ray and DVD, and it has like
excellent.
a fold-out accordion thing inside of this big, cool-looking box.
I'll be getting that.
If you're not giving me a steel book, I want that fucking box. Let's do it.
So the Boy and the Heron one, and I'm very happy about that.
Boy and the Heron.
Best Adapted Screenplay.
What you mean is the real screenplay award, because this is what most films are now.
Well, we also have Best Original Screenplay after this.
Yeah, I know, but there's like so few of those these days. Like if you're like, oh, I hope my favorite film of the year wins screenplay, it's probably in this award versus the other one for the average viewer.
So this is where adapted is so weird. So we have Oppenheimer, which was adapted.
Wait, what? Adapted from what? Real life?
Adapted from the biography American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin.
Like, do you have to do that? Like, do you have to pay for the rights of this book if it's a well-known thing? Like, I could just do a Wikipedia search, right? And then it's technically public domain.
My friend, you are, this is a biography that you are stumping against right now. There is something coming up that you're going to be like, what? Poor Things, Tony McNamara,
Yeah.
The Zone of Interest,
that's based
Jonathan
off a
Glazer.
book or something?
Yep. Based on the novel by Alistair Gray. The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer, based on the novel by Martin Amis.
I remember that.
American Fiction, Cord Jefferson, based on the novel Erasure by Percival Everett. And Barbie.
We did bitch about this a bit.
Based on Barbie by Mattel. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
So if somehow a Transformers film becomes nominated for its screenplay, it would be adapted because it's based off of a toy.
Hasbro, right?
It feels stupid, though, right?
Just a little.
Because if you base it off of
no one gave Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach a book that said, hey, this is the Barbie Bible. Go off of this.
Yeah, they had to legitimately make a whole weird random thing. Like, it had to be made up.
Yeah. I don't think there was a book that said, hey, and this is the Will Ferrell part where he's big business owner.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that doesn't seem based on anything.
God damn it.
I guess Oppenheimer, but I don't know what I would pick there, because all that sounds weird. Wait, sorry, give it to me again.
The Zone of Interest. Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Barbie, American Fiction.
All right, so the Zone of Interest one is interesting because, like, the screenplay, what are you awarding there in the screenplay? Like, it's really, the directing is really what is elevating the movie, and the sound design and, like, the stuff that shows up on screen. So as a blueprint, like, how effective really was it, I wonder, unless they're just crafting behind the story. Poor Things is interesting. American Fiction is actually kind of an interesting throw in there.
A screenplay that baffled me.
A lot of it kind of doesn't work, but I like the humor of it too. And I like a lot of the ideas behind Barbie, but there's also a lot of things where I'm just like, shut up, everybody. I bet they gave it to Oppenheimer, but
Barbie has a great last line.
What is it?
I'm here for my gynecology appointment.
Oh, yeah. The crowd loved it.
I had to explain to Ellie what that meant.
I guess I like to give it to Poor Things, which I have always called Better Barbie, so I'll give it to that, but I think they gave it to Oppenheimer.
They gave it to Cord Jefferson for American Fiction.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said. I kind of didn't have a horse in that race.
I don't hate it. There were just a lot of not great moments in the... Like, there are a lot of funny bits, and then a lot of, like, meh bits. Maybe it's for the ending, kind of the self-referentialness of it, and, like, making fun of Hollywood at the end.
The juxtaposition of people just dying a lot, that kind of...
Yeah, they're just like, oh, I'm dead. And you're like, wow, that happened right in front of me in a very cartoonish fashion. Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know how I feel. I'd have to watch it again. I didn't click with me.
It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. Maybe I think it's because of the ending is my guess.
Best original screenplay, Past Lives, which I saw that you watched and liked.
I wanted to catch up and watch the last one. I did.
Made me happy. May December, Maestro, Anatomy of a Fall, and The Holdovers.
I would definitely give it to May December. Past Lives, while I did like, the screenplay was probably the part I liked the least. Everything else really does strong work to cover that up.
I agree.
The Holdovers, I know you really, really liked, but for me feels really, really tame. Anatomy of a Fall, I also like. I like May December's more. Anatomy of the Fall, I think maybe they picked that. I think they picked that one.
And
No,
right.
hold on.
No.
I bet they... Oh, was I right?
You were right.
I was going to switch it to Holdovers.
No,
Okay.
don't. You won. Yes, Anatomy of a Fall for Justine Triet, and Arthur Harari.
Okay. I'm not upset with that.
No.
I enjoyed that movie. It's in my top 10 of Oscars, my personal Oscars. So I go for that. All right, go on.
Best Supporting Actress, Jodie Foster for Naiad, America Ferrera for Barbie, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
The Emily Blunt thing really does throw me off.
It's weird. It's her only nomination.
I might give it to the Color Purple lady.
Oh, Danielle Brooks.
But I bet they gave it to the Holdovers lady, and I'm not upset about that either.
Well, she has been winning literally every single award at every ceremony, so yes, she did win that one. And I didn't get to see her win, but I'm pretty sure it was the first one of the night because they were like, well, let's just get the most obvious award out of the way.
They always do one of the supporting things right away, I feel, so
yes.
I'm not too surprised by that. The America Ferrera one also seems quite odd.
Very odd, because Margot Robbie wasn't nominated. That movie doesn't work without her.
I mean, I could get why you wouldn't nominate any of them, but it feels weird. America Ferrera's not really doing anything in that movie. She has one monologue, which I think is badly written, and here we are.
It's the part in the movie that I just don't think works that well.
It's the worst part of the movie.
It's frustrating. And then she got nominated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm happy that someone gets a nomination, but like, whatever, moving on.
Best Supporting Actor?
Best Supporting Actor, Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Ryan Gosling, Barbie. Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. And Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon.
The Ken thing here, too, also confuses me.
Are you kidding me? That movie made $500 million because of him.
He just should be the male lead.
Yeah,
right? He shouldn't be supporting actor. That's what I don't get.
Well, he wouldn't have a really good chance in lead actor.
Yeah, that's why I think there was like some finagling by Oscar campaigns where they're like, no, he's really the support. He's the male lead of your fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's no leader male in your movie. It's all BS.
There's Margot Robbie, and then there's Ryan Gosling, and then there's everyone else. And
then everybody else is... Michael Cera is supporting. Will Ferrell is supporting. Because they are supporters.
I just forgot Michael Cera was in Barbie, and then I remembered everything Michael Cera does in Barbie, and I'm like, that's a good role. He should have got nominated and won.
He's number 2 on the fucking call sheet. He's not supporting. All right. I totally split. So Mark Ruffalo, Ryan Gosling, Robert Downey Jr., De Niro, and who's the other one?
And Sterling K. Brown.
Who the fuck was Sterling K. Brown in that movie?
He plays Cliff Ellison. And I believe that was his brother.
Okay. I liked him. I don't know who I'd pick. None of them scream to me. But I think they picked Robert Downey, right?
They did. He won an Oscar.
Yeah, great, fine, whatever. Let's go
Good
on.
for him. I guess those 15 years of Marvel movies finally paid off for him.
Yeah.
You'll never get that time back, sir. But it revitalized your career, and now you're A-list again, so sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just wish there were so many movies that he could have been making in that time that he didn't do, because he just kind of got lazy and was like, eh.
Yeah. It takes up a lot of time, because...
His Iron Man run kind of ended in 2013. And then he kind of just shows up in movies.
Yeah, they put him in all the other movies. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he's not the star of all those movies. I call it lazy bullshit.
Green screen takes a lot of work, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Sure.
What's next? Lead
I know.
lead actor? Lead actress?
Let's do actor, because I think this was also a pretty... obvious one. Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, and Coleman Domingo for Rustin.
Yeah, nothing super screams out of me there, too.
Rude.
You said obvious, so that makes me think Paul Giamatti, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oppenheimer kind of cleaned house there.
Final guess?
So I'll go Giamatti.
Oh, I wish it was Giamatti. It was Cillian Murphy. But you know what? Cillian Murphy's great too, so. You know, he's never been nominated before, so he's 1 for 1 too.
I'm not surprised by that.
That's rude. He's been good
It's
in
not
many
his
things.
fault. It's just like the
He's
movies.
just a quiet actor, so.
The movies are just don't. He's not the lead a lot, and when he is, it's not in those types of movies, you know?
Yeah, and I believe Nolan started out saying, he's like, we're going to get you an Oscar. And you know what? He did it.
Yeah, I would have liked for Paul, and not
Me
even...
too.
Again, I have no horse in the race. I just would like him to spread out some things. All right, go on.
Best Actress, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Annette Bening, Nyad, and Emma Stone, Poor Things. Who do you think won?
See, this is a good example of Lily...
Mm-hmm.
You could have said Best Supporting Actress, according to the Ken rules. But notice how they did it, because she's the biggest female character in the whole movie. Probably number 3 on the call sheet. Just because Robert De Niro is Robert De Niro. Otherwise, she would be number 2. All right. I think they gave it to her because of the story. Who do I pick? Who are the other ones? The not Nyad ones? Emma Stone and...
Emma Stone for Poor Things, Annette Bening, Nyad, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, and Carey Mulligan for Maestro.
I give it to Sandra.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that. I thought that would have been fine.
But Lily has the story. She was about to quit. She was in the Scorsese film. They apparently haven't awarded it anything. I could see her getting it. Oh, no. Who got it? Is Emma?
Wouldn't it have been crazy if Annette Bening won? No, I'm just kidding. No.
Okay.
That would have been insane. Netflix paid for an Oscar now. Yeah, no, it was I know I told you I didn't get to watch most of the ceremony, but I did the exact same thing that Emma Stone did when she won her second Oscar for Poor Things. I was like, excuse me? Holy shit. I dropped my phone and I was like, oh my God. I
thought that would have been a little too cartoony for them, but okay.
I would say look up her speech. It was actually like someone who had no idea this was happening. She was completely like taken back. She was just like, she was like looking for words the whole time. And the speech she gave was incredible. It was like 2 minutes long. I would say look it up. It was actually something to watch.
Okay, was that the moment that you wanted to hold off on when I asked?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's one other thing too, but I thought she had the speech of the night for me. I was just like, wow.
Gotcha.
All right, best director. We got Jonathan Glazer.
Christopher Nolan.
Do you even want me to go through them?
Yeah, I want to know who he's up against, but I would be shocked if it were not Christopher Nolan.
Right? It's just the crowning moment for him, right? Justine Triet, who is being like welcomed into the circle now. Martin Scorsese, Killer of the Flower Moon. This was apparently his like 24th nomination in the last 10 years where he won. He's got 0. It's like 0 goose egg. Motherfucker, that poor guy.
Keep going.
Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, who's definitely like in the club now, and Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest. But yes.
I would give it to Jonathan Glazer, but I bet they gave it to Nolan.
They gave it to Nolan for, helping save Hollywood, even though the movie that he said would save Hollywood back in the pandemic almost killed theaters forever because he opened it way too early.
Listen, half of that goes to Barbie, you fools.
I know. We talked about it.
I strongly believe that. All right, go on.
And then we have Best Picture. Al Pacino comes out to present Best Picture.
Why?
Because he's fucking Al Pacino. And what does he do when he gets up there? Doesn't go over the 10 nominations, skips some. He's just like, nah. And then he's just like looking at the envelope. He's like going through the motions like, oh, yeah, I'm happy to be up here. I love the movies. The movies are great. And he looks at the envelope and he's like, and my eyes see Oppenheimer. That's how he announces it. And we're like, what? So I did exactly how he did it. My eyes see Oppenheimer. Yeah, Oppenheimer wins.
Well, I would have given it to Zone of Interest, as I've said. I'm not surprised it's Oppenheimer. I know I said Barbie in the summer, and I really thought that's where the tea leaves were blowing. This Oppenheimer momentum felt like it kind of came out of nowhere a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Then you had Poor Things, so I'm like, all right, well, that sinks Barbie's chances. And all you Margot Robbie criers, well, they gave it to the other Barbie actress in Emma Stone, so shut up. The same character, quote unquote, got the award, so it's fine.
One was for adults, one was for everyone.
Yeah, overall, a very tame choice by the Oscars.
Yeah. A
very boring choice considering you didn't even nominate Godzilla Minus One, the better World War II atomic movie.
It's just funny that they came out the same year. It's like having Armageddon and Deep Impact. It's like having Volcano and Dante's Peak. There was a third one that I wanted to bring up, but it's just kind of left my mind, but it's okay. So the moment that I feel like really broke through was not when The Rock and Bad Bunny presented an award last night or 2 nights ago. It's when my guy, John Cena, walked on stage bare ass naked with a little envelope covering his genitalia, and he gets on stage and says, I'm here to talk about the nominations for Best Costume Design. And man, was the crowd loving it.
Why was he stuttering?
Well, because he was nervous because he was naked in front of a bunch of people.
Okay. So when he walked out, he was also walking out pretty nervously?
He walked out. He was shuffling like a crab across the stage because he was butt out.
All right. Who's hosting?
Jimmy Kimmel.
A perfect host for the year you picked Oppenheimer. How safe can we make these Oscars, huh?
Hey, I would say I heard a lot of positive feedback about the Oscar show. It started at 7 instead of 8, and it was over by 10:30, so it must have been over very early on your side of the country.
Yes, another thing, at least on the East Coast, it's easier to avoid because I can go places, and I imagine the TV will...
I forgot about that.
If I went out to dinner somewhere, it's probably on the TV, I'm like, we're staying in, going nowhere. Yeah, Peacock for weeks has been like, we've got Oppenheimer here, so I don't want to turn on Peacock to watch Raymond, and then they're like, Academy Award winner Oppenheimer. Poor Things was on Hulu, I didn't want that. So, I had to stay away from a lot of... Max had one, maybe. I had to stay away from all of them.
Well, you know what? If you went to Netflix, you really wouldn't have to worry about too much on there. Poor Netflix. Don't you want to watch Naiad?
Naiad and Rustin were both extremely manufactured. The crazy thing about May December is it feels like the least Netflixy movie I've seen on Netflix.
You want to know why? Because it wasn't a Netflix movie. They bought it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. Right, because that's the whole thing is we're doing House of Cards because our algorithm says they like this director and they like this genre and they like this actor. Mm-hmm. And the algorithm has only gotten more specific since then in the 10 intervening years. So I'm not surprised the movies now feel assembly line garbage crap.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised we've gotten here. And Rustin's a neat idea. It's kind of a neat way to tackle a very well-known topic. You did it the most boring way possible. The safest way. I didn't even realize the movie was over. I'm like, wait, we don't have a third act? We're just done? All right. Okay. Overall, pretty standard Academy Award year, it seems like. Couple of nice wins for some movies I enjoyed. I'm happy about the Godzilla one. I'm happy about the sound design for Zone of Interest. It's kind of nice. Poor Things managed to wrestle some of the funner awards away from Oppenheimer. Yeah, Joe liked Boar and the Heron. That's fine. I don't know what I pick in that because I've only seen 2 of those movies, and I was medium on one and didn't like the other. So
I think if you see the dub with Pattinson as the Heron, it really changes things for me. I don't know.
Well, maybe the second time, maybe I'm able to better figure out what is happening because I just couldn't follow.
I know.
And not in a fun, experimental, kooky, like, what am I getting here?
I'm going to tell you.
Did I miss something?
The movie comes out the day after my birthday. I was so excited. I was like, this is the movie I wanted to see for my birthday. So Tanya and I went to the movie theater. And we get into the theater. She's watching the movie with me. 10 minutes in, I hear snoring. She's passed out. She's out for the entire movie. And I'm like, were you just tired? She's like, meh. She doesn't hate Miyazaki either. She kind of likes him. But it's just like, that movie was like so my vibe and my everything. And I was like really digging it. And then just Pattinson just really going off, doing his fucking bird impression, and I'm like, yes. Pattinson, he's really cooking right now, and it's a shame that they delayed his Bong Joon-ho movie a whole fucking year.
Yeah, why'd they do that? Is that a Spaceman special effects thing too, or something?
I don't know why. It was supposed to come out in like 2 weeks, and I think in the beginning of February they pushed it back to January 25.
What?
And everyone's like, maybe they wanted to play Cannes. Maybe and they'll like save it for like an early release next year for Oscars. And I'm like, I guess, but what the fuck?
Will it count if it gets released in January?
I think if it gets like a limited release, at the end of the year, maybe.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go back to the actual movie, Rubberface. We won't quite do the title match thing yet because not much has changed since we last checked in. But do you know when Eddie Murphy's Delirious? Was that also 81? 82?
Murphy's Delirious. Delirious is 83. He was cranking them out.
So he was already doing the movies, and then the special came out.
Yes, the special comes out in 83.
But he's doing a major feature in 82. Meanwhile, the year before, Jim Carrey is doing this TV movie. So Jim Carrey actually got started first.
Yeah. And actually, in our timeline, we have not messed up because Eddie Murphy's comedy special Delirious comes out in October of 83, and I believe his other movie Trading Places in 83 was in June.
Okay, but we weren't going to do Delirious because it didn't go into theaters.
That's true.
Are we?
We can still do it if you want.
We could talk about it when we do his next episode.
He's also got an actual like really big comedy special that like did play in theaters that we can cover, so we can just watch that one.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So why does Jim Carrey do this movie? Well, because he dropped out of high school like 2 years earlier and gets to basically play himself. And just like with Copper Mountain, showcase his kind of gimmicks, his impressions, his slightly rubbery face. And good thing that not going to high school thing worked out for him, I guess.
It did work out.
He could have very easily been the next Ida. What's her name?
Ada Glassberg.
Ada Glassberg. All right, what are your last looks, Joe?
My last looks are, this is my favorite gym project that we've covered so far. I was like nervous because I'm like, I haven't enjoyed any of these that we've done because Copper Mountain was fine, but I was like, this is mostly a concert film.
Yeah, but you know what? No Chic impression too. Maybe that's why you like it.
Yeah, maybe. That could be.
Just a Groucho Marx impression.
Which is fine. But yeah, my last looks, good on Jim for giving the spotlight to a woman. That's nice. That's good. That's very nice of him.
Okay. All right. To thank our sponsor, Chixie Sticks. the cylinders that you crave. I don't know why they had to refer to them as cylinders, but
Cylinders.
I mean, I'm sure that's the shape. It just doesn't sound very appetizing. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for mine those audio boards and keeping the sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for this year's Oscars. We look forward to seeing you next year when I will similarly be disappointed by most of their choices. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
I'm serious about my Martin Scorsese, David Lynch buddy cop film, now that Martin Scorsese's going to act again. Think it would be good.
Two of the oldest cops around.
Yeah, because the whole force is corrupt, Joe, so they got to come out of retirement because they're the only ones they can trust still.
No.
It's rotten from the inside.
I'm thinking we got a Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau hit on our hands right now. I'm saying they can't remember their case. They can't remember what they had for breakfast.
You could take, it's got like a True Detective Season 1 vibe where David Lynch will say something kooky and Martin Scorsese will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think
early
an
on.
An easy hit on our hands.
Yeah. All right. You ready to just dive in, or what do you want to do? You want more preamble?
No, we probably should. There's a lot going on today. Big day.
Very excited to tell you, because you haven't looked up a thing, right? You haven't seen a thing?
Which proved to be quite hard, and I'll get into that later.
Excited.
We'll just do it.